welcome back is a lot different than,
3 months.
So girl, they do you dirty, Sarah. So that's all I have to say. Not trying to be I told you so, but it's good that I don't reveal everything because now I can comment on what's true and what's not true. And do you want to talk girls trip? We have to talk about Brandi and Caroline.
Well, this is, of course, the biggest story right now that's happening, which is essentially that Carolyn Manzo and Brandi have been sent home. Now, it's more like Brandi was like basically told you're going home, and Carolyn was like, I'm leaving. I'm reading this in the Post that, essentially there was many unwanted kisses by Brandi to Carolyn. I don't know. I mean, I don't even see another woman kissing Carolyn Manzo. Like, there's just nothing about that seems like Denise seems like she'll get down with anybody. You know what I mean? Like Denise and Brandi hot. I don't
Listen to
know
me.
what scoop do you have? Because this story doesn't make any sense, but it seems to be true because it's being picked up by legit places.
I mean, listen to me. By the time you guys hear this, we'll probably know, but that's regardless because our analysis, it's different than that. You look, I always go to I'm a producer and I have things to say about the producers. I think this is such a setup. And B, I go to I think like a corporation. I mean, look. I think, well, look, you don't get sent home unless it's something racial or something physical. You don't have to punch someone in the face. I think if water's one thing, Jennifer Aiden, I think if you dumped a tray of food like that was going around on someone, that could qualify in today's day and age as a reason to be sent home and taken off the premises. When you get into like kissing, I mean, as a lawyer, now we are into unwanted sexual advances. Like, this is not. I love Brandi. I really do. But let's just assume this is true. You were on the first girls trip. You were on Traders. Now you were back. That could be like $500,000 in the course of a 12-month period. I think you just ruined I think you ruined everything. I've said this on the Patreon with Kim D. Brandi to me is, and I love her. This is not an insult to me. She's like Danielle Staub. She gets in her own way. I do think she was working her way back in the network. I think she could have gone on more girls trips, more things with 3 shows on Peacock, and she's doing good on them. I believe when you listen to me, and I also believe, I mean, if I were Carolyn, I would be filing a lawsuit against production and Bravo. This is me. And when you call a lawyer says, okay, there's 2 things. You can't stay. Let me take that back. You can sue anyone any day for anything. If you sue someone for what happened, your case is drastically weakened by the other counsel saying, why did you stay for another 7 hours? It was at the end. It was probably only another 24 hours. But that argument is really strong. Why did you stay? You're suing for intentional emotional distress and this and that. Why were you? It wasn't even that bad, sweetheart. That really weakens your case. I believe, because I believe Carolyn and I believe her lawyer is like, you need to pack up right now and we have to figure this out when you get home. That's what I think. I don't think this is over. And there's an HR investigation. I mean, we don't even know if this is what really happened, but if it's kisses and I mean, it says Brandi apologized the next morning. So it's like,
yeah,
it
by
doesn't
text.
even that.
Yeah. So there's proof. I mean,
but that's where it's like, there's no world that I live in. There's no world that I live in where I would start doing this to you, hear the word no, see or see a certain reaction on your face and there's nothing in my mind. I would say I am in big fucking trouble if I continue this. That would go through my mind. I don't understand how it's like, I understand Brandi didn't mean anything by it. Probably she wants to make good TV, but this now really, I hope I'm wrong. This could be the end of her on Housewives. Danielle pulled Margaret's hair. That's it. She's never going to be back. That's why we can say anything we want. I think this could be the nail in the coffin for her.
I know.
And this is what is this? This is sexual. This is, unless I have to look up definitions of things, but there's harassment, there's unwanted, there's a lot of things this could be under the statutes.
But wait, what makes you imply that it's a setup? Like, do you just think it's a setup, like gone wrong? Like just like they ply everybody with alcohol, knowing that Brandi's like bisexual? Like, what do you think is a setup?
Well, and we still don't know. Like, if it was about Dina, I think that's a setup. I think like they tap Vicky on
Oh,
the
that
show.
was another
They'll tap Vicky and say, go mention Dina. And Vicky's like, I am not mentioning Dina to Carolyn Manzo. Fuck off. Because that's what, and then they would be like, hey, Eva. And Eva would be like, yo, man, I'm just smoking my dope. I'm not mentioning Dina. And then they go on to like Phaedra, and she's like, girl, I'm not doing that. Are you crazy? Carolyn Manzo? I'm not mentioning her sister. And then they go to like whoever else is Alex McCord. Alex is like, who's Dina?
Yeah.
And then they go to Brandi, and she's like, cool, okay,
Hold my
great,
beer.
great
Yeah.
girl, hold my beer. Hey, Carolyn, what's up with your fucking sister that hates you?
By the way, what has gone down with them? Because they no longer speak, right? What is the rumor as to why they allegedly
So
haven't spoken in years,
that's the setup,
right?
though. Just so you know, I guess it's
Yeah.
less with the kissing, but that would be the setup. I don't think Brandi knows Dina that well. Like, I think if that's what comes out, I think that's a setup. And then to me, that's like, we'll get into that, your question in 1 second. But to me, that's like, here's Carolyn, who's like, I'm never going back on New Jersey Housewives. I even said this on the Patreon with Kim. I think Carolyn probably said to them, I will not sign this unless you tell me who's coming from New Jersey. And they say Jacqueline Larita, and Jacqueline turned it down. She turned it down because she doesn't have care for her younger son, who is autistic, which great for Jacqueline. I mean, I really respect that. So then when Jacqueline's out, who's going from New Jersey? Carolyn's like, no, no, no. I mean, granted, I don't think they have that many people. And they say, okay, fine, we'll just get someone else. Like, let's get Alex McCord. I mean, I believe Carolyn had that right, and they don't give that right to a lot of people. I believe that she wanted this. So when she says, girl, Morocco vacation, there ain't no Teresa, there's no Melissa, there's no Danielle, there's nobody. I'm going to have a great time. It's like, I believe Carolyn is probably there blaming herself. Like, you knew, girl, you knew. And I do think the producers, if it has to do with Dina, did her dirty. Like, let's get Carolyn riled. Now, if there's kisses and right, well,
I mean, it's so low because to me,
that's what it is, honey. That's the game.
But I mean, there's so much between Carolyn and Brandi. Like, I wouldn't even think you'd have to bring that in. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, to me, they could argue about anybody. I mean, it's like, why would we have to go there? But
because Dina that's everyone has a hot button. We can go to Camille and say Kelsey. She'll say, what? I'm happily married. I don't give a fuck about Kelsey Grammer. Like, I think, they'll try other hot buttons, and with thick as thieves, it's family, girl. I mean, imagine if Brandi threw a tray on Teresa. I mean, we might have like a hospitalization right now by Brandi. I don't know, but I just so it's I think we don't know what happened. But I think if it was Dina or something, I think they went around and and maybe they didn't even go around. They just said, we have only one live wire that will do whatever we say, which is why they love her. I think that's a setup, and I think they would have done Carolyn dirty. And I think if it's kisses and all this other stuff,